Coming up next on Meet the Farmer TV.
This year we're very proud that about 4 or 5 members of the garden voluntarily built our new shed that looks like it belongs in Architectural Digest, I would say. And it was affectionately christened the Hoe House, which is where obviously we keep all our hoes and tools. But anyway, as I said, there are about 36 gardener members here. The garden is a part of the Jersey City's updated Adopt a Lot program.
This program is a production of Meet the Farmer TV, LLC, in association with Planet Earth Diversified, Nelly Productions, and Leslie B. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design. Today, Meet the Farmer TV travels to Jersey City, New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Rose, and I'm an urban farmer in Jersey City Heights. You are watching Meet the Farmer TV.
Now joining us is Beverly Brown-Ruja.
Hi, Michael.
Beverly is a Jersey City resident, a nonprofit coordinator. She's also a sustainability and green jobs coach. Beverly is board member of the Riverview Community Garden and also the Riverview Farmers Market. So tell us about the Farmers Market there, Beverly.
In terms of the farmers market having benefits for the community, aside from the importance of supporting local economy and promoting awareness of locally produced foods, fresh foods, healthy foods, the market has become a community center. So, the activities that are going on that we've actually organized ourselves, the ones that Mo mentioned, that people in the community are organizing themselves, this has become a meeting place for people in the community. And so it's not only a practical provider benefit for the food purveyor benefit for the community, but it's also just a place where people are meeting and getting to know each other, seeing old friends. So it has a really sort of town center kind of a quality that we haven't had in the Heights much, and especially not in our park, not in Riverview Fisk Park at all. So it has that added benefit beyond the important things that Mo already mentioned. I know that Mo mentioned some of the organizations that are working with farms in the Heights to make the market successful. Riverview Neighborhood Association has been our sponsor organization. It's one of the oldest community organizations in Jersey City, and it's a very prominent organization in the Heights, very active. And so they've been here at the market with us, supporting all of the activities, promoting the market, getting the word out. And in addition to the Riverview Neighborhood Association, we've had the support of the Washington Park Association, which is a group that takes care of the Washington Park. It's a county park. They've been here promoting Heights activities and also supporting the market. I believe Mo mentioned the Riverview Community Garden, which has also been kind of a host organization for our activities. But this is truly a community effort, and a lot of organizations have been part of it. The Distillery, which is an art gallery down the street, has a children's art class. They've held their class here in the park during the market. So everybody's involved. It's a community effort, a broad community effort.
Now, Beverly, can you give us a tour of the community garden?
This is the Riverview Community Garden, which was established, I think, just about 20 years ago. It was a garden that was established by people in the neighborhood, residents of the neighborhood, to provide not only a beautiful place in the garden, but also so that people could do gardening, obviously. So the garden has evolved, and there are now, I believe, 36 plots, individual plots, garden plots, and it's open to all residents of the neighborhood. We sign up first come, first serve. I've been gardening, I think, now for about 17 or 18 years. Mario, who's with me here, has been gardening for probably that long as well. and we continue to be members of the stewardship here. Each gardener has a plot and can grow whatever they like. Most people here do choose to grow vegetables. If you walk down here, you can see different kinds of vegetables that they're growing. A lot of tomatoes over here, peppers, basil, chard. What else? Help me out, Mario and Dorothy.
At times.
Lots of herbs. We have a beautiful, when the season's right, we have a raspberry patch over here. A lot of lavender and wonderful things like that. This year we're very proud that about 4 or 5 members of the garden voluntarily built our new shed that looks like it belongs in Architectural Digest, I would say. Absolutely. And it was affectionately christened the Hoe House, which is where obviously we keep all our hoes and tools. But anyway, as I said, there are about 36 gardener members here. The garden is a part of the Jersey City's updated Adopt a Lot program. And essentially the Adopt a Lot programs allows residents of Jersey City to take over land, little pieces, plots in the city, and turn them into gardens. And so although this garden has been here, I think, for almost 20 years, Dorothy, who's here, is one of the original gardeners and founders of the garden. And I think, Dorothy, am I right, 20 years?
I would say, yeah, maybe about 14 to 20 years. Yeah, it's definitely more than 15 years.
Like the activities that you've been seeing in the park or that you came to see in the park today, the community garden is a place where people come to convene. It's a place to meet. And it's just a beautiful addition to Riverview Park. And it promotes growing local food. It's one of the aspects of urban farming that's really becoming important to communities, where people actually have an opportunity to grow their own food in an urban setting.
People should start growing their own things, their own vegetables, their own whatever they like to grow, because actually this is where it all kind of started, and we're going all back again to the same thing where we used to start from, and this is part of it. There's a lot of places in New York that I know that they have community gardens on the roof, no less. We have the ground, and this is where it grows more natural than everything else. So hopefully people start notice about it, and hopefully people take advantage of it and keep growing.
I am at the Riverview Community Garden, and I am picking green beans. It's important for kids to know that string beans don't grow in cans. What's important to me is learning about how things grow and being together with my neighbors. This is the most peaceful place in the neighborhood. It makes it beautiful and refreshing and friendly. Before I started farming in Jersey City Heights, I just didn't know anything at all about how things grow, and everything has been a delightful surprise, including that seeds grow up toward the sky. So the most basic things were just a delightful surprise to me, and it's been endless discovery.
Jersey City's really getting on the bus when it comes to urban farming. They just started a chapter of Buy Local, Buy Fresh in Jersey City, and that means that we have local restaurants who have committed to buying locally grown produce for their restaurants.
Today on Meet the Farmer TV, we're at the Hasbrook Farmers Market in the Garden State of New Jersey. We're going to talk to the Secretary of Agriculture, Douglas Fisher, all about the environment, the state of agriculture in New Jersey, and how things are growing in this great garden state. Now let's talk with George, the market manager here at the Hasbrook Heights Market. Hey George, how's it going here at the market today?
Hi Michael, everything's going well here. It's our first day of the Hasbrook Heights Farmers Market. We are expecting some pretty strong storms to come through though, so that might put a damper on things for a little bit. But we have some pretty good interest and moving a lot of produce. Well, the success of a good market is always based on the people in the community. If the people want to have farm fresh produce, they'll come here to the market and patronize one of the farmers. There's a good publicity up here. We got some banners out, some signs out. But we've been here for quite a long time. We've been here 10, 12 years now. and we have a very good following at the market. Local stuff right now that's coming in, we have strawberries, we have peas, we have asparagus, there's a huge variety of greens, I mean leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, beets, it goes on and on. Buy local, support your local farmer, and come out to the farmer's market.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Next on Meet the Farmer TV, from the Garden State of New Jersey, the Secretary of Agriculture, Douglas Fisher. Mr. Secretary, right here in the Garden State of New Jersey, what are the innovations and the special things you're working on?
Nice to see you, Michael. So glad to be here and join with you today. Well, there's so much that we'd like to talk about, but certainly we can talk about our food nutrition program in our schools. So we feed about 650,000 kids a day. School lunch are closer to 700,000 now. And we're trying to incorporate as much local and fresh foods as we can into their menus. And we're developing recipes. We've gotten some grants from USDA to be able to develop recipes through our Food Innovation Center at Rutgers. And so I guess if you asked about what was scalable and be able to duplicate, replicate, that would certainly be one of the areas where we think there's some great promise. Now in New Jersey, we're only of one of 3 states that actually have food nutrition in the Department of Agriculture, the State Department of Agriculture. But we're working with the Department of Education, and this year, just this year, we were able to get a letter signed from the Commissioner of Education to be able to have breakfast in the classroom, breakfast before the bell, sometimes referred to as instructional time, where kids can learn about eating right, best nutritional habits, learning where their food comes from, and really that's as much a part of the curriculum that is so needed for kids today when we talk about childhood obesity. Getting those kinds of nutritious and fresh foods into the classroom, as opposed to children coming to school with no food in their belly at all. So we were able to help get developed a yogurt with fresh berries, all from our Jersey Fresh program, all from New Jersey. And so the kids are actually preferring that over some of the other choices that they could have that are really not so good for them. So we're really excited about that. We're learning how to do tomato products and some rollatini for luncheon menus. And it's all about making it not just presentable, but kids have to want to be able to want this. There has to be demand. I know that from being a grocer. For 30 years I was a grocer before I was Secretary of Agriculture. And if you can't build demand, then you can have all the do-goodness you want to do, all the programs you want to develop, but at some point that child has to make a decision that they're going to choose that and they're going to learn about it. And we're making great progress in New Jersey. In the USDA fruits and vegetable program, where they get to come into a school once again, and we have lots to talk about, but I'll focus on that for just a minute, to be able to come into the schools and actually take a vegetable or a fruit of the week and develop an entire lesson plan around that. They'll plant seeds, they'll have a little garden at the school. There's a lot of new and innovative ways that we can introduce children to the fact that there's so much that we grow right here in our own neighborhoods. And we encourage them to start a garden. We talk about the thrill of being able to put a seed in the ground, germinate it, waiting till it comes to fruition, and picking that off. And it has a very special effect on kids, and they become lifelong consumers of things before perhaps where they just grabbed it and go in the food deserts, where they might just go to a fast food, get a big soda and a burger and fry, and that's okay at times, but it can't be a steady diet of that, and that's what we're encouraging them to think about. The food desert essentially says that in many of the areas that are underserved by local agriculture, they don't have fresh fruits and vegetables in their neighborhoods. They have a lot of food, but it's essentially one type of food, and many times it's fast food, which is, while companies are making a big effort to expand their menus to include salads, at the same time, food desert means that they're not getting the opportunities to get fresh, local, nearby grown foodstuffs. Another thing that we could talk about that's scalable that we've witnessed, I'm president of NIASA, which is the 10 Northeast States of Agriculture this year. And we hosted the convention in Cape May, New Jersey. Now, one of the things that we were able to witness was one of our operators who has several hotel properties around in Cape May County. He also has a farm. And so what he has done is grow the crops that he feels are necessary to be able to help supply his own restaurants. And he's made quite a run at it. And so it's really an amazing operation to see, where they meet with the chefs and decide what they should grow for the coming season. And then they develop a sort of a plan, a farm plan that's based on what they anticipate will be their demand. And they grow all their own herbs, all their own vegetables. They even have their own pigs and chickens, free range actually. And it's amazing to be able to get the business side. Here was a fellow named Curtis Bradshaw, who was a Wharton graduate, has an MBA, and he's developed a plan to sort of incorporate what's going on his farm in the area with the restaurateurs, his own and others as well. And it's really quite remarkable and quite successful.
Well, that's great. Now tell me, what is the state of agriculture in New Jersey? What sort of amount of money is it producing? How many people are involved in that?
Sure. Well, first of all, there's 10,000 farms in New Jersey from various sizes, of course, like every state. But we have, it's billions of dollars of farm gate. We're in the top 10 commodities in so many areas. For instance, alternates from year to year, but last year we were number 2 in blueberries, high bush blueberries in the nation, largest blueberry farm in the world. We have cranberries, which is a big part of the industry here. Horticulture is our number 1, accounting for about $500 million a year. Our sire stakes programs, it's varied because we grow over 100 varieties of crops in the state. And we're close into the New York market, the Baltimore, Washington, points, west and north and south. And so we have a number of areas that we're very much leading innovators in, and also have huge markets for. But we grow so many things that it's almost hard to pigeonhole us into one area, except to say it's billions and several billions of dollars, not just the NAS billions that are counted, but so many other varieties that are grown in the state.
What do you see as the future of agriculture for New Jersey, and what is it you're trying to accomplish?
Well, the future is that it's changing. And so if you're just going to be a commodity grower and be a price taker, as opposed to what we hear sometimes, price takers and price makers, it could be a difficult time. Not to say that we don't have huge operations. Even in New Jersey, we have 2,000-3,000 acre farms that are growing growing commodities, and it's quite successful at it. But the change is that what we grow is changing. For instance, right now we have a number of fellows that are growing and gals that are growing greens, microgreens, and they're doing it. They can do $400,000 worth of crop in an acre. We have people developing new technologies all the time. So as long as you're changing, the way we look at it is there are all these millions of people around us. It makes sense from a carbon perspective to be able to supply that demand. But you have to change at times, right? And so we do that. We have food processing here. I think the answer is, the question is how to adapt, and we're very adaptable. We're almost 9 million people in less than 5 million acres, of which 2 million of those acres are woodland. 1 million is about 750,000 acres of farmland. As long as we continue to look at the market around us and what it's looking for, ethnic specialties are exploding. We're growing crops that nobody even heard of before. We've imported, there's a fella who's growing something called the peppadew, where he found it in South Africa, and now New Jersey is the national headquarters for the peppadew. We're growing those peppers here, and they're used in so many value-added products. So value-added is another area that we look to make sure that we can help extend our seasons, to find new uses for products. And that's very much a part of our strategy. And we've had some great successes. People have developed peach ciders, they've developed salsas, they have line extensions within their own farm operation. And so, farmers love to grow. What we try to do is help focus more on the marketing side and help them with that. Most of our farmers don't need any help telling them how to grow. What they need help is finding those markets to be able to grow and cater to.
Well, that sounds great. Now, one of the things that I see in state agriculture departments is there's often a push to try to help the farmers market and maybe help some larger organizations get started, especially in those value-added or a processing sort of operation. But now with the president's push on the food safety and the FDA kind of suddenly having access to every place food is grown, processed, and handled, there's a whole lot of uncertainty what we need to do as a grower to keep that food safe and meet all of these regulations and be able to supply something to some of these new value-added systems without finding ourselves liable for some huge recall and problem that we end up losing the family farm over.
We've had conversations with FDA. We've had some forums in the Northeast here. We've worked with Mike Taylor to try to explain that as we phase into this thing, we want to make sure that we don't put our farmers out of business. Very large agribusiness is probably the easiest for them to adapt. Some of the smaller operators are going to need more time. But when you're looking at food safety, and which is FSMA, the Food Safety Modernization Act, we know that everyone wants to make sure that their food supply is safe. And we also know that America's food supply is, if not the safest, one of the most safe food systems in the world. And so we have to make sure that there's not an overzealous response to a couple of scares that happen, which ultimately will happen. It can occur. I mean, anything can happen. But we know, and we're working with FDA just to address that issue. How do we make sure that we don't lose our smaller farmers, our smaller operations, who have to be able to comply and still be able to make a profit and have a living for their family? And at the same time know that with traceability, we do have to know every step of the way. And we're getting extraordinarily good at it. We can tell you what field it grew in. We can tell you where it went, who touched it, what machine went through. And but there's lots of discussions that have to take place to make sure that those rules aren't just developed without any real thought, as much thought as needed to be given to what it means to our individual farmers across the country. And small farmers, very small farmers, in some ways have a different sensibility about where their product goes and how it's dealt with and who gets it and how they can trace it.
Jersey's known as the Garden State. You got beautiful soil, wonderful environment, a lot of talented farmers. And I know as Secretary of Agriculture, you're there to really make that happen in the state and protect the farmers and really build that economic engine of agriculture. And one of the things that's happened to us here in Virginia recently is the Chinese company is interested in buying Smithfield. And Smithfield Ham's pretty famous in Virginia. And I wonder how do you handle things like that, the sort of globalization where we not only have CSAs and farmers markets, but we also become the food source for the whole world, and other countries kind of want to use our farmland and buy up our agricultural enterprises.
So you're asking about the globalization of farming and what it means in terms of world markets. Well, of course, naturally we want to export, and it's probably the biggest glowing success in our economy right now in the United States is the $120 billion of exports that I think that's the number that we do in this country. And obviously people look to American foods. They very much trust the American food sources. And we hear that all the time from some of the global partners, that they very much want to be able to get American foodstuffs. And it's demonstrated by what they buy. But you also mentioned about companies coming in and buying up the processors in this country. Well, as the Department of Agriculture, our concern is about growing and about making sure that we have markets for our foodstuffs, and we really don't concern ourselves that much as long as the jobs are still here. So no matter what company comes in, as long as they stay here, remain here, develop the industry, actually these are investments that are being made here. But the question is, can we preserve our American jobs? And what I've seen is very, very much so. In fact, in some states, I know that it's considered to be some of that foreign capital coming in. They're very much courting, frankly. And so we focus on, as I said, the jobs, and we focus on being able to maintain the farm infrastructure that we have with the 700 and some thousand acres that we have here.
Very good. So the sort of the flip side of that globalization and America feeding the world is the small farmers and the people starting out in the next generation and the young people, and that really might be sort of the focus of a farmer's market, like where you're touring, CSAs, small community supported agriculture. Tell me how that's working in New Jersey.
We're having a great renaissance of folks coming in to New Jersey and wanting to get into farming. And so we encourage that. We help develop beginning farmers. And it's really people from all walks of life. You know, there's a certain romance that comes with people that have sort of cashed in their careers and have decided that they actually do want to farm, that they want to produce local artisan foods. And we're seeing that clearly here because, as I said earlier, we have the markets for it. So we've had stockbrokers leave New York City and come in and start a cheese farm. We have a very well-renowned economist who decided that he wanted to go into the dairy business, makes his own cheeses, very fashionable cheese. And we have Buffalo Farmer. So there's a lot of niche markets that are here that are developing. So that's what I meant about the changing and evolving nature of farming. You can have 200 acres and perhaps make as much on a 5-acre exception or a 5-acre piece having a farm stand as you can on the other 195 acres. And so we have lots of farmers markets in New Jersey, particularly in the urban areas, and great farmers that are coming in and plying their foodstuffs right here at the markets. We also have a developing CSA economy where very creative CSAs, and you know, every CSA operates a bit differently. Some they go into just a factory or a commerce center. They deliver into this one building and are able to have that CA develop in one site. Others, there's so many different models, but they all have captured the imagination of a lot of people that really want to go into farming.
So Brian, you've been so busy there working while we've been chatting. What are you doing?
We're selling over here. We're selling fresh bread from North Bergen, New Jersey, and local growing beef, pork, and chicken from local farms also in New Jersey. Just getting fresh product out to the consumers.
That's great. So you're farming as well as creating some home processed products?
Yeah, it's all, we have pre-packaged frozen foods. We have breads, homemade mozzarellas, and fresh jarred marinara sauce.
So that should make you hungry.
This program is a production of Meet the Farmer TV, LLC, in association with Planet Earth Diversified, Melly Productions, and Leslie P. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design. For additional information and extended versions of this program, visit our website, www.meetthefarmer.com.